Thank you very much, Matt, and my thanks to the province for this opportunity, the invitation to be part of the announcement here today. Most importantly, on behalf of all those people involved in the robot programming competitions in Nova Scotia, I'd like to thank the provincial government through Minister Moore and Minister Jennings, I know who's with us here in spirit, for this long-term investment in our program. This announcement signals the province's dedication to developing Nova Scotia youth in the areas of science, math, technology, and engineering for careers and businesses in the 21st century. Careers and businesses that we want to have here in Nova Scotia, throughout Nova Scotia. It's important that you are aware that this is certainly not the province's first investment in this program. They've been financial supporters from us from almost the very beginning, since 2006, in fact. However, in the past years, we've had to work together in order to establish that funding from year to year. With this announcement, it ensures core funding over a 5-year period, which will allow us to do some very important things that we haven't been able to do before. Create a multi-year plan for success in increasing and sustaining the competitions in Nova Scotia, to better solicit for additional financial and in-kind funding from our industry partners and perhaps the federal government as well, more fully market and promote the program throughout the province, better track youth participation in the competitions, and the connections that they make to educational programs and career choices. And lastly, to discover and nurture new partnerships in STEM leadership, education, and promotion. Now, before I go on to tell you a bit more about the RPC and what this means to all of us, I'd like to also acknowledge just a few people. I don't want to repeat too much what Minister Moore has already mentioned, but still I guess I can add a few more remarks. Again, to Ian McLeod, I thank you a great amount for your efforts at the Nova Scotia Community College and for your team of volunteers. And it's through their efforts that it's really allowed us to expand the robot programming competitions throughout the province. This past weekend we had 4 qualifying rounds in locations from the most southerly portion, or at least Lunenburg, through to Truro, and we have one more competition coming up in Middleton next weekend. Also, to my good friend Dennis Langell and to Michelin Canada, who have been there with us from the very conception in 2005. Not only do they provide significant funding every year, but they also send a fleet of engineers, and Bib, by the way, who's the big Michelin tire guy, under Dennis's direction, to the competition to participate as technical judges and to cheer on the teams. This is at our provincial competition. Certainly, I don't want to go without thanking the many, many teachers, administrators in the Nova Scotia school system who have supported the robot programming competitions and given their knowledge and time and energy to create or assist teams in this area. And we're going to be hearing from one of those dedicated teachers in just a moment. My thanks to Holly Thompson, who is the Provincial Commissioner of the Nova Scotia Girl Guides, who has worked to this year register 4 new teams. Holly? Holly, there she is, right there. Thank you, Holly. And also to Kisa Monroe Anderson, Director of the Inhotetep Legacy Academy. Kisa, are you there? Hello, Kisa. The Inhotetep Legacy Academy has promoted the robot programming competitions to students of African heritage in Nova Scotia. We've been fortunate to have an array of other corporate and in-kind sponsors for our endeavors in robotics. This includes the Insert Promo Science program, WISE Atlantic, who's represented here today by Dr. Tamara Franz Odendahl, and she is actually the Insert Chair of Women in Science in Atlantic Canada. So, young ladies, if you have some ideas out there, talk to her. She'd love to hear from you. Eastlink and Nova Scotia Business Inc., who've been with us since 2005. More recently, the RBC, represented today by Rachel Stone, who's the branch manager for the Bedford RBC. Rachel? Hi, Rachel. And Pratt & Whitney Canada. And because this year's First LEGO League competition is focused on seniors, the theme is called Senior Solutions, we've also had a generous contribution from Shannix, Nova Scotia. Lastly, I'd like to thank the hundreds, literally hundreds, of volunteer coaches, mentors, competition judges who will work with the 67 teams across Nova Scotia who registered this year for our competitions. I want to send a personal thank you out to the Acadia University staff, faculty, students, alumni for all their efforts in making our own competition in Acadia such a success. And it would be terribly remiss to mention that this all happens really under the leadership of Ms. Karen Wilder, who is the director of the robot programming competition. It has been, this is their 5th year, and much of the success that we're seeing today is due to her efforts. So thank you very much, Karen. Since 2005, the robot programming competitions have engaged approximately 1,500, or at least 1,500 youth as young as 9 years old in the design and development of technology that they love to use, and we increasingly are dependent upon for our work and play. This has resulted in 3 world-class teams that have competed in international competitions, and as you've heard recently, one who's actually filed a provisional patent for an idea from last year. It's really incredible. All this happens while the teams are having tons of fun. The kids really do enjoy themselves. Yeah, they compete for ideas, and they learn how to work in teams, and this is a big part of the adventure that they undertake. They work so hard to have so much fun, as a matter of fact, they forget that they're learning math, physics, computer science, and team dynamics as part of what they're undertaking. As a matter of fact, part of the core values motto of the first LEGO League reads, what we discover is more important than what we do. We share our experiences with others, and we have fun. And when you're having fun and learning, you can't beat that education. So 2 things have become quite apparent from these endeavors. One, our children have the ability to be the best in the world in terms of technology and teamwork. And second, we need to engage their young minds in becoming builders and entrepreneurs of modern technology and not just consumers of that technology. The robot programming competitions is a grassroots movement that makes steps in this direction. One of our favorite quotes by a participant from a school, Avon View High, as a matter of fact, and the student's name was Eric Banks. He said a year ago, I like robots because they make me think, and I make them think. This has significant import, actually, at this point in time, and here's why. The STEM-based industries in Nova Scotia, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, particularly the digital industries, will play a larger role in our economic future. For example, ICT has the highest growth rate of any sector in Canada, about 4% annually, year over year, since 2001. Some of the highest income and the lowest job rates, I think it's at 3% this year, and is demanding 17,000 new positions each year through to the foreseeable future. Our children need to be knowledgeable and confident in their abilities in these areas, and be aware of the variety of careers and educational pathways open to them. In closing, I'd like to encourage anyone who is interested in what they have heard today to become involved in our movement. Simply Google robots in Acadia. That'll take you to the right place. I'd like to thank Debbie Maranthal and her team, and Shelley and Heather for setting things up today. This is truly wonderful. You're going to be seeing more when I'm finished. And most importantly, Minister Moore, I'd like to thank you very much for the province's financial support for the robot programming competitions, for your presence here today, and for your kind and generous words of encouragement. Thank you very much.